Incorporated presents Measure for Treasure, featuring the amazing Professor Einzeit and Irving.
Dear Professor Einzeit, how do you know how much things weigh? When I go to the doctor, I go on a scale, and the doctor has to move things on the scale. But I don't know how the doctor knows how much I weigh. Your friend, Nicky Dunlop.
That's a very good question. Don't you think so, Irving? Say, why don't we make a movie just for Nicky on measuring? But what is measuring, really? Hey, what the heck? Oh, well, let's put our thinking caps on. Well, measuring is kind of like comparing, isn't it? Well, of course it is. Say, have you ever been to a birthday party with streamers and balloons and a birthday cake? Okay, come on up now. Look, how do you decide which piece of cake you want? Well, you can look at them and compare and see that one piece is much larger than the other. And, you take the piece that's closest to you.
Professor,
Yeah.
would you please shoot off your rocket hat?
All right, all right. And here we go. Yeah. Of course, there are many different ways to measure. But let's start out with measuring distance. When we measure distance, we measure the space between 2 points. Well, we might measure the distance from one end of my fingernail to the other end. Or we might measure the length of this pencil from one end to the other. Or we might measure the distance from my house here to your house, huh? But now, how do we measure these things, huh? Well, let's suppose we want to compare the length of this pencil with the length of my control box. Well, we can just look at them and see that the control box is much longer. But then we might ask, yes?
Basically, how much longer is
Oh,
it?
well, I'm glad you asked me that question. How do we measure how much longer the control box is than the pencil, huh? Well, to measure anything, we must have a unit of measure. Well, let's use these paper clips here, huh? All right. One paper clip is 1 unit. And then we can make a whole chain of paper clips to measure distance. Well, watch. All right, now the pencil here is 7 paper clips long. Oh, say, Irving, are you ready with your paper clip chain? Well, good. Then you measure the length of the control box. Oh, and you can try this too. Now look, remember, the length of this pencil is 7 paper clips, and the length of the control box is 7 paper clips. Huh? The control box is the same length as the pencil. Oh, that's impossible. Oh, here, Irving, you measure the pencil, and I'll measure the control box. Can't you count, Irving? This thing is obviously 28 paper clips long, and the pencil is 2 paper clips long. Hey, what the heck's going on over here? Let me see this thing. That's why our measurements are coming out funny. Our units of measure aren't the same. He has 1 unit of measure, but his 1 unit is equal to 4 of my units. Now let's measure properly. The pencil is 7 tiny paper clips long, and the control box is 28 tiny paper clips long. Oh, that sounds better. Oh, that means the control box is 21 tiny paper clips longer than the pencil.
Thanks a lot.
Happy to be of service. That's right. The pencil is 2 giant paper clips long, and the control box is 7 giant paper clips long. Well, that works too. The important thing is that we must choose a standard unit of measure. Well, that means if we're going to measure to compare 2 objects, that we must use the same unit of measure for both of them. We can use tiny paper clips, or we can use giant paper clips, or we can use inches or millimeters or anything. But we must measure both objects with the same standard unit of measure. Otherwise, serious trouble. Now, let's measure something else over here. Here we have 2 cubes. They're the same size and the same shape. But are they the same? Let's check. Where is that? Oh, here it is. Now, this is a simple balance. We use it to measure and compare weight or mass. Oh, watch this. You're going to love this. You see these? Steelies, huh? Woohoo! Strike one. Now, when we put a steely on this side, the tray goes down. If we put another steely on the other side, it balances again. That's because the steelies have the same mass. Now, let's compare the weight of our two blocks. I put the red block in this tray, and the blue one over here. Woohoo! I'd say this one's much heavier, wouldn't you?
Yeah? How much heavier?
Well, hold your horsepower. I'm getting to that part. Now let's measure the weight of these two blocks. Red block weighs 1 steely. You see how this balances? Now let's weigh the blue block. The blue block is much heavier, just as I suspected. But how much? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steelies more. Now, don't mention it. This is a balance. And this is a scale. Irving and I made this one all by ourselves. Well, you can make one too. It's easy. Now, here's how it works. We have a handle here and a little spring with an arrow hooked onto the bottom of it. When we add weight, the arrow goes down. We take one of our steelies and we put it in the tray. Then we marked a 1 here where the arrow points. We add another steely and we mark a 2. And then a third steely and a 4th and a 5th and 6. Now, do you remember our two blocks? The red one weighed 1 steely and the blue one weighed 6 steelies. Well, how much do you think they'll weigh on our scale? Let's find out. The red one weighs 1 steely and the blue one weighs 6 steelies, just like before. Well, do you see what we've done here? We've marked our units of measure on the cardboard here. So now we don't need the steelies anymore, just the scale. And so, Nicky, there's the answer to your question. When you visit the doctor, you get on a scale that already has the standard units of measure marked on it. Then the doctor moves these little weights around until the scale balances, and then reads how many units you weigh. Good. We've learned how to measure distance and how to measure weight or mass. Now let's try measuring volume. Volume is the amount of space something takes up. We measure volume every time we cook from a recipe. Okay. The recipe says 1 cup of flour. But how much is that? We take a measuring cup and it says right on it, 1 cup. That's our unit of measure. 1 cup of anything will fill this container. So, we pour in the flour, level it off, and then we pour 1 cup of flour into the mixing bowl. That's easy. Now, let's suppose that we want to get a couple of boxes here. Here we go. And we have to measure their volume. Well, we can compare them and guess which one has a greater volume. Which one do you think? This one is tall and skinny, and this one is shorter and fatter. But how can we tell which one has the greater volume? We could fill one of them up with water clear to the top, and then pour that water into this one. Now, if we fill this one up and still have water left over in this first one, well, that means that the first one holds more water. It has a greater volume.
I beg your pardon?
So, if there's still water in this box, then that means that it has the greater volume. Oh, but that's not really measuring, is it? I mean, that's just comparing. But suppose, just suppose, that one day, when I wasn't even looking, space aliens in a great big giant flying saucer flew down into my laboratory unannounced and squirted intergalactic glue all over my workbench. Yeah. And then just suppose that I accidentally squeezed the boxes down into that glue so you couldn't pick them up in a million years. Then how would you tell which one had the greater volume? That's right. We'd measure them. Now, what do we need to do that with? Right, a standard unit of measure. Let's see. Yo, we could use this thimble. No, it's too small. We'd be measuring all day. Aha! We can use this chicken. No, it's too hard to fill up. Back over here. Ah, perfect. We can use this peanut butter jar as our unit of measure. Okay, now let's see. The short box has a volume of 3 peanut butter jars. Good. 2, 3. Peanut butter jars full also. Look at that. They have different shapes, but the same volume. Oh, that's terrific, isn't it? Oh, hey. Now we got these things stuck down here. How are we going to get rid of all this water? Oh, great! Hey, oh, you little thing! Oh, thanks! Oh, hey, I beg your pardon. Okay, now. Hi! Yahoo! Jeepers! I hope you guys don't hold your spaceships together with this stuff. What else can we measure? Something that we measure every day. Of course! What is it that we measure every day? Right! You're right. Time. Time is passing. Time is passing. Time is passing all the time. As I was saying, time is passing all the time, and it's convenient for us to keep track of it. So we break it into standard units of measure. Each day is a unit of measure. Well, one day passes, and then another, and another. We measure time with it. In 3 days, the circus will come to town. Oh, Irving, stop clowning around there. 6 days ago, we went fishing. Irving, put that back in the freezer. That's not a pet. So, days are units of time. Weeks, months, seasons, years are all other ways in which we measure time. In fact, until recently, these were the only units of time people bothered with. Then our lives got a little busier, and we decided we needed to measure time in smaller pieces. So, someone came up with the idea for the sundial. Oh, and the hourglass, yeah, and a cuckoo clock. Oh, and then finally, the digital grandfather clock, which is one of my personal favorites. No. Say, do you know how to tell time? Well, hours, minutes, and seconds are all standard units of measure for measuring time. And speaking of time, we're almost out of time. So, there are many ways to... Irving, we've done that scene already. There are Oh, all right, all right. It's not really my birthday, but I hate to disappoint my little pals. Oh, the parade! Oh, thank you. Oh, look, a Measure for Treasure game with a pirate costume and a map inside. Oh, boy, look at it. And with some costume for it. We got a jacket and the sleeves for it. Oh, boy, look at all these things in here. Oh, and look, pirate boots. Oh, boy, real pirate boots. Look at these things here. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome, Professor Einstein!
Some pirate. Hey, button your beak, Buster. It's back in the box for you.
Hey, Anchor.
But look, I'm the captain here.
Look lively on the poop deck.
Ah, Measure for Treasure. Oh, this will be an adventure.
Buried treasure.
Start where you are. Go straight out the door, 10,000 tiny paper clips. Hey, that's measuring distance. We know how to do that. Oh, thanks, Irving. Irving, you can give me a hand. Here, put your finger right here. Good. A little traveling music, please. Buy a fish. How many grams does it weigh? How?
Ahoy there!
Hey, don't I know you? Oh, that's funny because your face looks familiar. Oh, and this face looks familiar too. Hey, this is just like the scale we made. 6,000 grams. So,
Open it up there. What's it say?
climb up 6,000 steps.
6,000? That's quite a distance.
Okay.
Steady she goes, mate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. $5,998, $5,999, 6,000. What's that?
Hey, this time we get to measure volume. Measure 1 canteen full of water.
Water, steady, Captain.
Oh, water, yes. I was getting kind of thirsty.
Yo-ho-ho on the volume of 1 canteen.
Screw cap loosely on. Turn canteen upside down.
That's what it says.
Go north until canteen is empty. Oh, you mean I don't even get a teensy little drink?
No cheating.
Oh, shush.
Professor want a cracker?
Oh. I think we've gone just about far enough here.
Let's see we don't wander down there. Our sure is Neptune's my uncle.
Now then. March along as long as it takes to sing one chorus of your background music. Hey, we can keep time with music, too.
Careful.
Pirates take a wholesome pleasure learning how to count and measure. With a yo-ho-ho, so much at stake. If we measure so we make a mistake, we'll never find our buried treasure.
Take 6 giant steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn north and take 3 tumbles.
3 tumbles.
3 tumbles? Well, how far is a tumble? 1, 2, 3.
Happy landing, Captain. Heads up off the port bow.
Woo-hoo! X marks the spot. Oh.
Ha-ha!
Scoop up 100 buckets of sand. Oh boy, I just love to measure volume, huh? Let's see. Oh, let's see. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
98, 99.
I'm tired of measuring volume.
Keep digging.
All right. Hey, here it is! I found it! Woo-hoo! A whole treasure trove of measuring tools.
What booty?
A ruler, and a meter stick.
For measuring distance. That was a breeze.
Oh, look, and a bathroom scale,
Ooh.
and a postage scale. Now, what do we measure with these?
People and postage.
Oh, yeah, I know, but we measured their weight. Oh, and look. A measuring cup, and some measuring spoons, and a scientific beaker. And we use these to measure volume. Good. Batten down your hatch. Do you recognize these things, huh? Right. What do we measure with these, huh? We measure temperature. One measures the temperature of your body, and the other measures the temperature of the air outside.
You don't say.
And here's the greatest treasure of all. It's my best friend Irving. Oh, and friendship is one treasure that you can't measure. Well, good, Irving. You came just in time to help me say goodbye to our friends.
Thanks for the letter, Nicky.
Oh, yes, and thanks to all of you who sent us letters and drawings after our last movie, What Are You Up To? And the rest of you, write to us really soon, okay? Write to Professor Einzeit at Box 384-A, Media, Pennsylvania, 19063. Write to us real soon, okay? Bye-bye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Take a wholesome pleasure, learning how to count and measure. With a yo-ho-ho, so much at stake. If we measure so we make a mistake, we'll never find our best.